Real quick before the video starts, I have a new channel based around green tech stories on 4chan, and I'll be uploading videos daily over there. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the channel in the description. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Chronically Atomic about 2 months ago. The post is titled, "I told someone that I'd never get as fat as her. I know how it sounds, but hear me out. I, a 25-year-old woman, was at a dinner out with a group of 6 girls all around my age. I grew up with and am really close with 3 of the girls. I didn't know the other 2 very well, but they were close with my close friends. They all went to college together. We were eating at a nice restaurant downtown in a city. Our table was up against a window, and a homeless woman approached the window who was obviously on something or mentally ill. She waved at us and was saying something we couldn't hear over the noise inside. Everyone just looked at each other, giggled, and ignored her. It was pretty chilly out, and she looked cold. I got up, met her outside, handed her a couple of dollars, and wished her well. When I got back to the table, one of the girls I didn't know well, I'll call her Emily, said, 'Who just lets drugs take over their life? I would just never let myself get like that.' I was fuming. I paused and looked at her. For some backstory, Emily is the heaviest girl in the group. We are all different body types. I am not skinny, and she is plus sized. Also, I am a recovering drug addict. My brother was also a heroin addict and experienced homelessness at some point. He died of an overdose when I was 17. My family is full of addicts. I continued down that path, and addiction had me in its grips. My friends at the table went to college. I went to rehab and got sober. I said, yeah, exactly. I would never let myself get over 200 pounds. Just put the fork down. Am I right?" Everyone was silent. You could cut the tension with a knife. Emily looked at me, clearly upset, and explained how she had a thyroid issue and chronic fatigue syndrome, and for some people it's really hard to lose weight. I said, well, maybe that woman has an issue that we don't know about. I left some cash to cover my food and left. My friends I'm close to texted me and said I was out of line and that Emily is super self-conscious. I feel bad for going low and hitting where it hurts, but I just wanted them to gain some perspective. I don't think I owe Emily an apology before she apologizes. Am I the problem here? Edit, everyone knew about me. We went out a week before and I explained the whole story to explain why I wasn't drinking. Update. I asked Emily for coffee this morning to apologize. We met and I started off by saying I was sorry for making it personal and commenting on her appearance and that I would be really hurt if someone did that to me. Then I went on to explain how her comment about addiction being a choice is really uneducated and offensive. She said, "Thanks for apologizing, but my dad is an alcoholic and he chose alcohol over my mom and me. I would just never do that." I tried to explain to her that her dad got to a point where he did not have a choice anymore. He had a disease. He probably felt shame every day for it. I said, "I'm sorry that you did not get what you needed as a kid or now." He probably did not either, and that is why he found a way to cope, just like I did. She said she understands now and why she copes with food sometimes. I gave her props because food addiction can be so challenging since you cannot just stop eating, unlike drugs, where you do not even have to be around them. We thanked each other, we shared more stories, we will remain friends and try to connect more. Thanks, folks. Slore Tactician said, "I don't want to be friends with any of these people." Dryad Duinith said, "I am big on the idea of nice motive, still murder, but I think there is something to be said for not labeling a whole group of people, a whole group of strangers, as less than." This second story was made in the Neighbors from Hell subreddit by a user named Door Not Yours. The post is titled, "My neighbor keeps trying to break into my apartment." So here is a fun little mystery from my building. Every single day, morning and evening at 5 a.m. and again at 10 p.m. Like clockwork, my neighbor tries to open my apartment door. With the handle, like it is his. No key, just a firm jiggle of the handle before he realizes it is not opening and casually walks away. For context, I am a 22-year-old woman living alone. He is probably in his 50s or 60s, not super chatty. Talks to himself a lot though, like full conversations, alone. Also, when he leaves his own apartment, he closes the door and then rings his own doorbell every time. No one ever answers. I have so many questions. At first I thought it was an honest mistake, but But the thing is, he has been living here longer than I have, so he should know which door is his, right? But we are now weeks into this daily routine. Sir, I promise you, this has never been your apartment. It was not yesterday. It will not be tomorrow. And yet he persists, like maybe one day the stars will align and suddenly the door will open and he will walk into a parallel universe or something. I have decided to slip a polite little note into his mailbox, something friendly but clear, just to say, hey, please stop trying to open my door, thanks. Maybe that will be the end of it. Or maybe he will just start knocking for a good measure. Who knows? I am considering leaving a note on the door, a sign, something like, still not your door, champ. Or just embrace the chaos and start waving through the peephole every time he tries. Has this happened to anyone else? Am I starring in someone's confused sitcom without knowing it? Update. Well, folks, we have had progress, maybe, sort of. Here is what happened. After my last post, I left a little note in my neighbor's mailbox. Friendly tone, but clear message. I then proceeded to live my quiet little life until the next day when, plot twist, he knocked on my door. At the exact moment I heard the knocking, I knew it was him. Call it female intuition or whatever. So I opened my door, I smiled and said hi like everything was all right. I am a nice neighbor, you see. He asked me if I was the one who put a note in his mailbox. Then he proceeded to tell me very insistently that it was not him. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. Like a gaslighting remix on loop. I told him I heard his door open and then a few seconds later, my handle wiggle. He smiled, shook his head, and said nope, it was not him. So I played it cool and dropped a casual, it actually wakes up me and my boyfriend. Because hey, being a woman living alone next to a strange door enthusiast does not feel amazing. Still, he denied everything. So in the name of peace and survival, I smiled, said I must have made a mistake, hoped he did not mind, and apologized for the trouble. Then I closed the door. I then proceeded to check my locks. Not once, not twice. Honestly, I lost count. And just a quick note for those worried about my safety. I have 2 locks and a chain on the door, and I never forget to lock it. I even check it multiple times a day when I am home. We are staying safe and paranoid, the ultimate combo. Now, here is the fun part. This morning, for the first time in ages, no door handle rattle, which strongly suggests, yeah, it was him. Surprise, a miracle, or maybe he really walked into a parallel universe. But my bet is he just realized I knew what he was doing. But around 4 a.m., I heard him open and close his door. Twice. Like full door theatrics. Open, close, lock, repeat. Not quietly, not once. Twice. So while he is no longer touching my door, he is still apparently living out some kind of nocturnal hallway ritual. Don't ask me why. The hallway spirits maybe, or obsessive compulsive disorder as many of you suggested. So yeah, we are celebrating small wins. For now, my door gets to rest in peace. Let's hope it stays that way, and let's all repeat it together. Some doors just are not yours, buddy. Mediocre Nectarine said, this one is a note from me. That would not be enough for me. To this puzzle-headed bed said, me too. I am so annoyed with her. Why on earth would she open the door and allude to a non-existent boyfriend? Sweetie, get a doorbell camera and a gun. A pretend boyfriend cannot save you. Get recordings of him trying to open your door and file a police report. So many wise options, and she chooses this. This final story was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Sunset Moth. The post is titled, I'm not inviting my boyfriend to my graduation dinner because of what he said to my dad. So I, a 19-year-old woman, just graduated college early, yay me. My family is super close-knit, especially my dad and me. He is a single dad who basically gave up everything to raise me. Like, this man worked 2 jobs when I was in high school so I could do extracurriculars and not worry about anything. We are tight. Anyway, I have been dating Jake, a 22-year-old man, for about 8 months. He is funny, a bit sarcastic, and usually great to be around. We've had ups and downs, but nothing major until last week. My dad threw me a small graduation dinner, just close family and a couple of my best friends. Jake was going to be invited, but the day before the dinner, he came over to help me pick an outfit and ended up chatting with my dad. I was not in the room the whole time, but I heard them laughing at first, then their voices got lower. Later, when Jake left, my dad pulled me aside and said, "I don't like how he talks to me." I asked what happened, and apparently Jake had said something like, "You must be glad your job as a dad is finally over," in a joking way. My dad just smiled and changed the subject, but I could tell it really hurt him. He is sensitive about that kind of stuff, and honestly, so am I. When I texted Jake about it, he doubled down and said my dad was being too emotional and that it is not that deep. That rubbed me the wrong way. My dad has never asked for anything, and this dinner was a big deal for him. So I made the choice not to invite Jake. I did not tell him until the day of, and he blew up saying I was choosing my dad over him and that I am immature for ghosting him for a stupid dinner. I told him he needed to apologize to my dad first before being welcome around my family again. He said I am being dramatic and that my dad needs to grow up. So now he is barely speaking to me, and some of my friends are split. A couple say I did the right thing, others think I should have still let him come and talked it out afterwards. Update: I did not think this would get much attention, but thanks for all the responses. I read a lot of them. A bunch of people asked for an update, so here we go. After the whole graduation dinner situation, I gave Jake some space. I thought maybe he just needed time to cool off and think things through. I was still upset, but I genuinely hoped he would come around, maybe even reach out to apologize to my dad. He did not. Instead, the day after the dinner, he posted some cryptic Instagram story, a black screen with white text, classic drama, saying something like, "Some people value performative loyalty over real love. Roll eyes. Okay, philosopher." I ignored it. But then my cousin messaged me asking if everything was okay, because apparently Jake was replying to comments under that story with eye roll emojis whenever someone mentioned family or dads. At that point, I was like, what are we doing here? So I texted him one more time. I said, "Hey, I need to know where you stand. If you still think what you said was not a big deal and you do not want to apologize, then maybe this just is not gonna work." He read it, did not reply, left me on read for 3 days. Then out of nowhere, he sent me this long paragraph saying I clearly have unresolved daddy issues and that he should have known I would always prioritize the first man in my life over any future ones. Y'all, my jaw was on the floor. Not only was that wildly disrespectful, it proved exactly why I made the right choice. I told him we were done, blocked his number, told my friends what he said, and even the ones who thought I was being too harsh before were like, yeah, no, he sucks. And my dad, he did not even know half of this was happening, but when I told him, he just said, "You deserve someone who respects all of you, including where you come from." Anyway, single now, degree in hand, peace restored. My dad and I went out for pancakes the next morning and laughed about how I almost invited a man who beefs with father figures to a family dinner. Thanks for the advice, Reddit. Some of you saved me from wasting more time. Sam Yantiago said, Jake had severely overestimated his own value in that relationship. Good for OP. If my partner tells my dad that his father duties are over, his partner duties will be over. There is also something super gross about him calling himself the future man and her dad the first. Why are you competing with her father? Weirdos. Jaded Mermaid said, boyfriend tries to use manipulation and hurts himself. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.